Every time you fall hard for someone, your goals vanish. It's not coincidence. Your brain is running outdated programming that treats romantic attachment as survival priority. While you're obsessing over texts and feelings, your actual mission is dying in the background. What if love isn't the problem, your processing system is? Why emotional intensity kills your focus, and what to do about it. Let's get uncomfortable. You're addicted to emotional chaos. Not because you're broken, but because you've been conditioned to believe that intense feelings equal meaningful connection. They don't. Most of the time, intensity is just unprocessed data overloading your system. Think about how your brain works when you're falling for someone. Every text notification spikes your dopamine. Every silence triggers anxiety. Every interaction gets analyzed for hidden meaning. Your cognitive resources are maxed out on emotional speculation, while your real life sits untouched. This isn't romantic. It's dysfunctional. And the worst part, you've been taught to celebrate it. Movies glorify obsession. Songs romanticize pain. Social media rewards emotional volatility with engagement. So you learn that losing yourself in someone else is what love looks like. Here's what actually happens neurologically. When you're in that emotional storm, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for long-term planning and decision-making, gets suppressed. Stanford researchers found that people experiencing high emotional arousal show significantly reduced activity in regions associated with rational thought and goal pursuit. You're literally biologically compromised. And instead of recognizing this as a temporary state that needs management, you treat it as the ultimate truth. You make life-altering decisions based on neurochemical cocktails that will normalize in weeks. But nobody tells you this. Nobody teaches you that feelings are temporary visitors, not permanent residents. That emotional intensity is a signal to pause and process, not a green light to act impulsively. So you quit jobs for relationships that end in months. Move cities for people who ghost you. Abandon projects you cared about because someone made you feel alive for a minute. And then when it crashes, because it always crashes when built on emotional quicksand, you're left with nothing. No relationship, no progress, no mission. The solution isn't becoming emotionally unavailable. It's building a stronger operating system, one that can experience intense emotions without letting them hijack the entire program. One that can love deeply while maintaining core directives. How many goals have you abandoned because a relationship felt more urgent? How confusing love with life. Purpose destroys both. Here's the brutal truth. If your happiness depends entirely on relationship status, you don't have a life, you have a waiting room. You're in pause mode until someone validates your existence. That's not love. That's outsourcing your sense of purpose. Real talk. Your mission can't be finding love. It can't be keeping someone happy. It can't be building a life around another person's schedule and preferences. Because the second that person leaves or changes or simply has a bad month, your entire foundation collapses. You see this pattern everywhere. People who are on fire with ambition suddenly go dark when they enter a relationship. The gym membership lapses. The business idea gets shelved. The creative projects collect dust. Why? Because they redirected 100% of their energy into emotional maintenance. And here's the trap. They think they're being good partners, selfless, committed, but really, they're being self-destructive. Because when you abandon your mission for a relationship, you become less of the person your partner was attracted to in the first place. Think about it. What drew them to you? Probably your passion, your drive, your sense of purpose. And then you systematically dismantled all of that to focus on the relationship. You became a hollow version of yourself whose entire identity revolves around making someone else comfortable. That's not partnership. That's self-erasure. And it breeds resentment on both sides. You resent them for making you give up your dreams, even though nobody forced you. They resent the needy, directionless person you've become, wondering where the driven individual they met disappeared to. According to research from the University of Michigan, individuals who maintain independent goal pursuit within relationships report higher satisfaction and longevity compared to those who merge all life objectives with their partner's agenda. Separate missions don't divide couples, they strengthen them. But you were told the opposite. You learn that love means fusion, that healthy relationships require total synchronization, that if you're not doing everything together, something's wrong. So you suffocate each other with constant proximity and wonder why the passion dies. Here's reality. Magnetic people don't abandon their paths for others. They invite others to walk alongside them. There's a massive difference. One creates dependency, the other creates partnership. Are you building something worth inviting someone into, or waiting for someone to give you direction? What happens when you stop letting feelings make your decisions? Mind-bending perspective. Incoming emotions aren't commands, they're notifications. And you're treating every notification like a 5-alarm emergency that requires immediate response. Your brain sends emotional signals constantly. Jealousy pops up, anxiety whispers, infatuation screams, and you react to all of it like it's critical intel when most of it is just background noise from outdated survival programming. Humans evolved to prioritize emotional signals because they kept us alive in dangerous environments. Fear of abandonment made sense when being expelled from the tribe meant death. Jealousy protected reproductive investment. Attachment anxiety ensured group cohesion. But you're not living in that world anymore. Those emotional systems are still running, though, triggering alerts for threats that don't exist. And because you never learned to evaluate these signals critically, you treat every emotional fluctuation as truth. Someone doesn't text back immediately? Emotional alert. Abandonment imminent. Better panic. Create scenarios. Send desperate follow-ups. Except maybe they're just busy. Maybe their phone died. Maybe they're taking a nap. But your emotional system doesn't care about logic. It cares about perceived threat. This is where people destroy relationships. Not because the love wasn't real, but because they couldn't differentiate between emotional signal and actual reality. They responded to fear instead of facts. They let anxiety drive behavior that pushed people away, confirming the very abandonment they were afraid of. The game changer is simple. Feel everything, but pause before acting. Create space between emotional trigger and behavioral response. In that space lives your power. That's where you choose whether this emotion deserves action right now, or if it's just old programming running its loop. Elite performers in every field master this. Athletes feel pain and keep moving. Entrepreneurs feel fear and launch anyway. Leaders feel doubt and make decisions regardless. Not because they're emotionally dead, because they've learned emotional signals don't have veto power over their mission. You can apply this immediately. Next time intense emotion hits, acknowledge it. I'm feeling jealous. Then ask, is this feeling based on current evidence or past wounds? Most of the time, it's past wounds cosplaying as present danger. What would change if you stopped treating every emotion as an emergency? Which of these patterns hit hardest for you? Drop a like if this is rewiring how you see your emotions, and subscribe because we're just getting started on breaking these mental chains. How to feel everything without losing everything. Final truth. Emotional depth is your superpower, your weakness. But only if you learn to channel it instead of drowning in it. You've been told that feeling intensely makes you fragile. That sensitivity is a liability. That successful people are somehow less emotional. Complete myth. Successful people feel everything, they just don't let feelings override strategy. The difference is infrastructure. They've built internal systems that can handle high emotional voltage without short-circuiting. They experience jealousy, fear, heartbreak, euphoria, all of it. But those emotions flow through channels that don't flood the control room. You can build this. Start by separating identity from emotion. You're not your anxiety. You're not your infatuation. You're not your jealousy. You're the awareness, experiencing these states. That distinction creates breathing room. Next, implement the pause protocol. Emotion surfaces. You acknowledge it. That's interesting. Feeling X right now. You don't judge it or suppress it. You just don't act on it immediately. You give yourself 24 hours before making emotion-driven decisions. Revolutionary shift. This is how you protect your mission without becoming cold. You stay fully human, fully feeling, but you stop being a puppet every emotional fluctuation. You love intensely but maintain boundaries. You invest emotionally but not recklessly. Look at people who've mastered this balance. They're not emotionally distant. They're emotionally regulated. They can be vulnerable without being dependent. They can love without losing themselves. They can feel heartbreak without abandoning their trajectory. That's the goal, not emotional suppression. Emotional sovereignty, where you feel everything but decide everything. Where love enhances your mission instead of derailing it. Where relationships add to your life instead of becoming your entire life. Because here's what nobody tells you. The right person doesn't want you to sacrifice your mission for them. They want to witness your evolution and contribute to it. They're attracted to your purpose, not your willingness to abandon it. When you show up complete with clear mission, healthy boundaries, emotional intelligence, you attract completely different relationships. Not ones built on need, but ones built on mutual growth. Not ones that consume you, but ones that expand you. Your mission is yours alone. Relationships can amplify it, but they can't replace it. And the moment you understand that distinction, everything changes. What's one goal you're reclaiming starting today? Regardless of your relationship status. Hit that like button. If this shifted something in you, what's the biggest pattern you're committing to break? And share this with someone who needs permission to prioritize themselves. Subscribe if you haven't yet. This conversation is far from over.